Hi, I'm Tim Bartz, Internet Sales Manager here at McArthur Ford, Salina, Kansas, your source for Ford news, update, and information, including your scheduling information here on a Tuesday as we go through the scheduling information for those that have orders placed for orders that are going to get scheduled for this Thursday, March 12th, 2026. So hopefully you guys do have an order placed. Put it in there. This is the first week of new sets of allocations. So that means that this is going to be a big week for retail orders. So, because Ford that first week will not schedule stock orders, and I say first week because really this is the first full week. Last week was the week that dealers were given their allocation numbers and everything was sorted out with their region. And so this is the first week of scheduling for those new set of March's allocations for those May production dates. So we're going to go through that. Very important. So I always tell people, hey, if you miss and you order in the middle of the month, you might have missed out on your opportunity for almost a whole month. So anyway, so we're going to get in that. Hopefully, though, you have your order placed. So we're going to get into this now. First off, make sure to subscribe with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss any of these videos. And we do want to go ahead and dive in, and especially if you're new to the different terminology, some of the things we're going to be talking about in this video. So if you're new, please watch this section so you get a little bit of insight from that. Those that aren't, check the timestamps. We do have your specific model timestamped down below. So you can kind of just move right over to your model if you're wanting just that information. But let's dive in and talk about terminology. Now, on this, what we're talking about here is when orders are scheduled, those orders are, or I should say when people put deal orders in, they're put in the order bank. And that is where dealer places all their stock and their retail orders. Now, retail order, that is a customer placed order. That is, Ford knows that is going to be a sold order for that dealer for a particular customer that ordered it. Now, a stock order, that is an order that's placed by the dealer for their stock or their lot inventory, what they would have on their lots. The priority code, that's a priority that's given to orders by the dealers. So 03 through 19 is a retail order type, and 20 to 80 is a stock order type. Now, the lower the better, which is why retail orders are always looked at first, and an 03 will be looked at before a 19. Now, 19 is a default for retails, and 20 is a default for stock. Scheduling, that is when Ford schedules an order for production dates in future months. So that's kind of what we're talking about in this video. So production date, that is when Ford plans to build your vehicle. And first it'll get scheduled to the week, and as it gets closer, it'll get scheduled to the actual day. Now, allocations, that's a big one. Allocations is where Ford gives dealers allocations to schedule their orders. A dealer needs an allocation to get an order scheduled in the order bank. So a dealer earns those allocations based on their sales of each model within their region. So if a dealer doesn't have an allocation, they can't get an order scheduled. Just have an order in there is not good enough. Now, constraints, that's an option that may be in short supply or take longer to build. And that could be based on the next one, which is the capacity. That is the planned production rate of a given motor, trim, or option. So when the amount of orders is over the capacity, that's where we get that constraint where it might take longer to get scheduled or longer to build for that reason. Now, job 1 and 2, production does get split into different job runs. If they want a particular, maybe there's a cool feature or something they want to add, and it's not ready at the beginning of the model year, they'll go ahead and start it with job 1s and then reintroduce those into job 2. Or if they get a supply issue where they can't make something, they can make those changes for the second half of the year, and that's when you'll see that job 2 changes. Balance out, that's the end of production, or what they call the balance out a particular option or model usually we see that balance out at the end of a certain model year before switching over to the next model year. So there's a terminology for you. So hopefully you guys, that made some sense to everybody. But let's just jump in and talk about the 26 model year Mustang. Mustang order banks are open up right now, and they are going to be scheduled this week. Again, retail schedule only for almost all these. They're going to be scheduled for the weeks of May 4th through the weeks of May 25th. So there you go. All right. No constraints. This first week, it's pretty much open up for everybody. Next up is the 26 model year Bronco Sport. Order banks are open up for the Bronco Sport. This is, they are going to be scheduling retail scheduling only. This is job 1 balance out. So I haven't seen any changes for job 2. We'll probably see that after this week balances out. But We'll just have to see, but they are going to be scheduled for the weeks of, because it's balance out, they're going to schedule for the weeks of April 4th to the weeks of June 6th. So they're going to schedule 5 weeks instead of just a typical 4, because they want to get it balanced out so they can then move on and bring us the order guide for job 2. And sometimes there's not really a lot of changes, just depends on the model. So we'll have to see. I haven't heard anything coming out, but we'll keep you apprised of that on our Built Wild Wednesday videos if you check those out. All right, next up is a 26 model year Bronco. Order banks are open up for the Bronco. The order banks are they're open up. They are scheduled this week. This is job 2 startup scheduling for the Bronco. It says scheduled for the weeks of actually it does say April. Well, these dates aren't right. It says April 20th to April 27th. But does say job 2 startup, which I still thought we had a little bit of time left. So we'll have to see how that goes about. But job 2 order guide has been out. Order banks have been able to order that new Orange Fury and some other things. It does say in here the Heritage Edition is not available with the Oxford white paint. So it does say that. Order guide still says you can order it in the white, but in here it said it's not available. So I don't know if they canceled it altogether. There's nothing there, and I'll try to reach out to the brand manager to get some information. But this first time seeing that note. One of the things that I'm not seeing on here is the note that we had on the Raptor with that optional wheel. It said it was not available until further notice. There's no note in here this week for that, as well as the 60th anniversary in that Wimbledon white. Also, that note is not in here this week, which makes me think that those are back and be available again starting this week. So, all right. Next up is a 26 model year Mustang Mach-E. Order banks are open up. They're retail scheduling only this week for the weeks of April 4th to the weeks of April 25th. No other notes other than that, no constraints or anything. Next up, 26 model year Explorer. Order banks are open up for the Explorer. Retail scheduling only this week for the weeks of May 4th to the weeks of May 25th. It does say in here to schedule your active version sooner, we recommend adding the Comfort package with the 20-inch carbonized gray painted alloy wheel. And then it also says to increase scheduling probability for the Platinum version 4-wheel drive, we recommend adding the 21-inch Bright Machine aluminum wheel with the tarnished painted pockets on that one. So that's about all we have on that. Next up, 26 model year Expedition. Order banks are open up for that. It does say in here that the 27 model year will be opening March 24th. So first time seeing this any information on 27. That is coming before you know it. This is Expedition Balance Out this month. So this week they're doing retail scheduling only for the weeks of May 4th through the weeks of June 6th or June 1st. Sorry, June 1st. So there you go. So that's 5 weeks. I guess earlier on Bronco Sport it was 6 weeks of scheduling. All right, that's what we have there. And then it does say 26 model year Expedition Balance Out. Final retail order scheduling will be Thursday, March 19th. That'll be the last time you could order an Expedition. I would get them in now, because if a dealer has allocations and they have orders in there, they will get them scheduled. They will use up those allocations. So first off, check and make sure your dealer has an allocation for Expedition, because if they don't, it doesn't even matter. Your order won't get built or scheduled for 26 model year. So you just will wait for 27 or find a dealer that has an allocation. That's going to be the key there. All right, next up is the 26 model year Maverick. Order banks are open up for the Maverick. They are scheduling retail scheduling only. Job 1 balance out as well, just like Bronco Sport. So they're scheduling for the weeks of May 4th through the weeks of June 6th. So 6 weeks. Bronco Sport, I said 5 earlier. It's 6 weeks. The box cover soft roll up and box cover retractable are now available for scheduling. It has been for a couple weeks now. Orders with the engine block heater will not be selected for scheduling. I know they said February. Now it's March or April. So just hold off on that. If you have the engine block heater, don't put it on there. And this is really for the EcoBoost motor, not necessarily for the hybrid, I believe. So, all right, that's all I have for Maverick. 26 model year Ranger. Order banks are open up for the Ranger. They are scheduled this week. It does say job 2 startup scheduling for the weeks of April 20th to the weeks of April 27th. So there you go. So I think what they're doing is they're going to schedule some of May as well, but this first week it's going to be the finish the second half of April. So job one finished at the middle. I think last time, if I remember right, they were only scheduling the first couple weeks of April for the balance out for job one. And so the startup for job two, they need to finish out those 2 months or those 2 weeks in April, and then they'll move on to May, I assume. So there you go. All right. Next up is the 26 model year Super Duty. Order banks are open up for the Super Duty. They are scheduled this week for the week for Kentucky for the weeks for the 1 week of April 20th, and Ohio for the weeks of April 27th through the weeks of May 4th. There you go. And then the only note in here is best availability is for the F250 and F350 XLT without the bucket seats. Also, another best availability is the F250, F350 Platinum version without the Platinum Plus package. So there you go. So if you have Platinum Plus, that's a key right there that there's a constraint there. So that's I did this last week and there's a lot here, but let's break this down. F450, the availability is 2 to 3%. There's 5% unscheduled retail orders, so that's kind of in a constraint area. That Platinum Plus package, there's 13% of the retail orders in the order bank are for the Platinum Plus, but their availability is only like 1%, so very low number. So if you have one in there, it's going to take a while to get it scheduled probably. Crew cab version, I don't need to really talk about that. The 6.7 liter high output Power Stroke diesel engine. There's about 6% of the retail orders in the order bank have that option, and 4 to 5% is the availability. So it's a little constrained because that 6% is higher than the 4 to 5. That's where we have that. Now, it really depends on how many retail orders there are. We don't really know that, but that's pretty close. We're probably okay. Heavy duty alternator that's standard on the 7.3 or the 6.8 gas engines. That's no constraint. Availability is 1%, but there's only 1% in the order bank. Tonneau pickup box cover, soft folding, hard folding, and retractable. It's a little constrained. 1% of the retail orders have that. But again, we don't know how many retail orders are in there. So it's kind of hard to say that it's over constrained. But the capacity is very low. So I wouldn't have that on your order anyway, just because only about less than 1% of the Super Duties will be built with those covers on them. The fifth wheel gooseneck hitch prep package. That is about 7% of the unscheduled retail orders in order bank. Again, we don't know how many there are, but their capacity is about 3 to 4% on that. So again, if you don't need it, maybe don't put it on there. But a lot of people order that because they want that extra cross member, which is what you're going to get when you order that. Seat configuration, the bucket seats for XLT and Lariat. They are a little over capacity. It looks like about 8% of the unscheduled retail orders have that on there, and their capacity is 3 to 4% of all Super Duties will have that configuration. Lariat premium package and ultimate package, both of them, their capacity is about 1%, but about 9% of the orders in order bank for both of them are going to, or it's 9%. It's kind of weird they match up like that. So that's a constraint. It looks like as well. The vinyl seats for the XL. Probably that's actually about right with their availability. So they're about even there. The trimmer off-road package, that's also not really about 1% of the orders in there, but about that is the capacity as well. And then the 20-inch bright machine aluminum wheel, that's the wheel. That one there is 3% is the unscheduled retail orders, and only about 1% of those is what their availability is on that. The 18-inch sparkle silver painted aluminum wheel, that's standard on the XLT, about 3% is how many of the orders that are unscheduled, and then the 1% is their capacity. So again, that's over capacity a little bit. 20-inch ebony black painted wheel, that is the black appearance package wheel. That one's actually within its availability, so you're good there. F600, that one's good. That's within its availability. F550 is also within its availability. Both of those, the F600 is about 1% of them built will be F600, and about 3% of the F550s will be F550s of all the Super Duties. XL version, the capacity is about 7 to 9%, and there's only 1% of the original order bank that have that. So you're good to go if you have an XL version. Lariat version, you're good there as well. Only 3% of the unscheduled orders have that, and their capacity is 9 to 11%. King Ranch version, that's one that's a little over 2% of them are ordered with that on there, and then their availability is about 1%. Crew cab with the 8-foot box with the dually, 19% of them ordered of the unscheduled retail orders have that crew cab 8-foot dually configuration, but only 8 to 10% can be built that way. So there's a constraint right there as well if you have that dually, if you're looking for that. And it doesn't say if it's just 350 or 450 in general, just says all dualies. The 7.3 liter gas engine with the torque shift G transmission. That'd be a non-trimmer, right? 4% is the unscheduled, the amount of vehicles that are unscheduled with it, and that's within the capacity of 3 to 5%. And then the 360-degree dual beacon LED strobe light, not many people ordering that, only 1% of them, which is within its capacity. All right. That's the breakdown on that. 26 model year F-150 order banks are open up. They are scheduled this week at Dearborn only, not in Kansas City, for the weeks of April 27th to the weeks of May 25th. Does say Dearborn scheduling only. XL with hybrid engine, trimmer, King Ranch, Platinum, Raptor. So XL with hybrid, trimmers, King Ranch, Platinum, or Raptors, sorry, and then all hybrid engines and heads-up display are going to be ordered or scheduled, looks like. So there you go. There's that. And then it does say in here, please consider removing the Max Trailer Tow package. If you have that, that is optional on your XLs, your STX 200A, XLT, Lariat, Trimmer, 401 and 402B, and it's included in the Trimmer 402A. So you can't do anything about that. So they'll probably focus in on that. They're also standard on King Ranch and Platinum, so they'll probably focus those Max Trailer Tows to those vehicles. So the ones that are where it's optional is where you probably want to think about removing it if possible. Due to the F-150 Job 1 balance out, all F-150 allocation was loaded into week 19 for May. That's a note for dealers. It does say in here, no scheduling next week. The unscheduled order bank will convert to job 2 during that week. So no scheduling next week. So you're aware of that. Also, please consider removing the factory installed keypad due to low availability. So there's a constraint there, right there. If you have that, there you go. So it does say, please be advised the spec changes for F-150 Job 1 at Dearborn will be turned off after this week. Kansas City's already been turned off. So. All right, let's talk about availability. There's only a few in here, and it's mainly the motors. Total Super Cruise configuration. There's 4% of the unscheduled retail orders are Super Crew, which is not very many. That's within its capacity availability of 36%. So again, not a lot of orders from dealers, or retail orders, I should say, in there. A lot of stock orders there, so most of them won't be stocks. 3.5 liter Power Boost full hybrid. About 8% of the unscheduled retail orders in the order bank are for the hybrid, 3% availability. But again, that is based on how many orders are put in there that are unscheduled. And with that number, we know it's low because Super Crew is only 4%. So that means, we're probably within capacity on about any of these motors, really. The 2.7 liter EcoBoost, about 7% availability on that and how many they're going to build that way. 3.5 liter V6 EcoBoost is 25% and 5.0 is 10%. The 5.0 is probably the big one that might be a little constrained because it is saying 29% of the unscheduled retail orders in the order bank have the 5.0 liter V8 engine, whether it be a Lobo, whether it be a regular cab configuration. Being 10%, that's 10% of their capacity. So, which can be a little because I think most of the XLs are built in, especially with the 5.0 are built in Kansas City. So that might be a constraint there for you for this week. 20-inch gloss black wheel. Their availability is 11%, well within their capacity or the orders. They overtake the orders there. All right, that's what I have for the F-150. 26 model year Transit order banks are open up. They are scheduled this week for the weeks of April 27th to the weeks of May 4th. Same note as last week. The 16-inch matte black alloy wheel and the sparkle silver alloy wheel are exhausted. Think about switching to the silver steel wheel. The 16-inch heavy-duty forged aluminum wheel that is exhausted, so think about switching to the steel wheel on that as well. And the high roof is not available, it says. It says availability, low roof van is within his availability of 4 to 6%. All-wheel drive is within its availability because it's available at about 42 to 45%. And in fact, all of them are. Heavy-duty front axle is well within its capacity, 45 to 47% availability, and fifth wheel bench also 42 to 45% availability. So that when it says availability, that means that's what percentage of all of the Transits built will have that configuration or that option that we talked about. So there you go. So there's all of our information for this week. Hopefully, good luck to everybody getting scheduled. Again, this is the first week for allocations for a lot of dealers. So this is a big week. So be looking for your emails on Thursday. Hopefully, everybody gets scheduled. Yeah, good luck there. So, and of course, don't forget to make sure subscribe to the bell notification, turn on so you don't miss any of our videos. And until next week, stay positive, be kind to one another, be kind to yourself. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.